Hey everybody, my name is Janelle. Happy World Music Therapy Day. Today I'm joined with two of our incredible music therapists, Court and Kirsten. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Hey y'all, my name is Court Rossler. I've been a music therapist for about 3 years now. I've been with Avenues for a year and a half coming up on. Um, Board certified music therapist, did my degree at Temple University.
Yeah, and my name's Kirsten Anatone. I'm a board certified music therapist at the Prince Frederick location with Court. Been with the company the same amount of time. We were actually hired on the same day. Uh, been practicing for about a year and a half now, and I divide my time between Avenues and then Warrior Music Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization aimed at providing free music therapy and music lessons to active duty military veterans and their dependents. The director of programs over there. So I'm doing good work.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. So music therapy covers more than just addictions treatment. It also helps with other mental conditions, mental health conditions. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely, yeah. Music therapists can work in an array of different fields. Of note, music therapists can work within hospital settings, in pain management specifically, or within NICU settings. Music therapists can work with children, adolescents, and teens and adults with autism and other developmental disabilities. Music therapists can work within psychiatric settings, within forensic settings, a whole array of different populations.
Makes sense. So what does a music therapy session like actually look like in reality? I think a lot of people, hear that, but not necessarily know what that's going to look like, whether they're looking for themselves or just to educate on music therapy in general. So if you both could just give me a little bit about, what you do in a session and how it helps people with their mental illness.
Yeah, so it's going to vary whether you're doing a session with an individual versus a group. But all of the music therapy sessions that take place at Avenues are within a group setting. So uh, in the sessions I design for those groups, I typically start with a mood check-in just to kind of see how clients are doing, kind of where they are in that moment. And then I usually ask them to match their mood to something musical. Kind of gets them thinking about where they are, how they are in a different way outside of themselves. And then I typically go into a session with some type of session plan, but the heart of all we do, it's a reflexive process. So if based on that mood check-in, if it seems like what I have planned is maybe not what they need in that moment, I'll adapt and we'll do something that caters more to their needs in that moment. Um, but we do a variety of different modalities, ways of facilitating the group, whether that's through songwriting, lyric analysis, song sharing. But the idea in all of it is to not only address the needs of individuals as much as you can, but to also support the group dynamic through collaborative experiences, discussion, all that good stuff.
That's awesome. I also was thinking, because I did see this in a few different areas, like people who don't have musical talent or knowledge or experience can still participate in music therapy, yes?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Court, do you want to talk a little bit more about that or?
Sure, yeah. Music therapy is a process-oriented domain. So folk with music experiences and backgrounds can absolutely dive in just as much as a person who has limited or no exposure to music or playing instruments, etc. Um, the way I was always taught and the way I try to implement music therapy, I'd be as transparent as possible, but also I do recognize that it is a bit sneaky in the sense that it looks like we are having fun and enjoying ourselves, but we're realistically accomplishing and doing really individualized therapeutic goals as a group.
Gotcha. What do those groups actually look like for you, Court?
Yeah, for me, music therapy in general covers a wide array of different types of interventions. So we work within recreative modalities, creative modalities, improvisation, and receptive as well. And so one day I might do song sharing set to a theme to allow clients to relax and unwind while still connect with each other and do some introspective work as well. the next day we very well could do some type of musical improvisation, either on instruments or with the voice. And other days there's heavy emotional processing through lyric analysis and songwriting as well.
That's awesome. Just to clarify, for those of us who don't have the extensive music background, what is a modality?
Just the I almost used the word itself. The method of how we're facilitating that musical experience.
Got it. Thank you for clarifying. So kind of following that vein, is music therapy for everybody, or is it just for people who have like diagnosed mental illness? Like, can somebody who is maybe undiagnosed or just curious about different types of therapy, can they jump in and be a part of music therapy?
Yeah, so like Court mentioned earlier, music therapists, we work across the lifespan and we work within a bunch of different populations. One of them just happens to be within that mental health sphere. But you don't have to have a mental health diagnosis to participate. Again, you don't have to be a musician to participate. You don't have to have any musical training to participate. And that's the really, I think, beautiful thing about music therapy is that it's not prescribed. We meet clients where they are in that moment from all angles, also taking into consideration whether or not they're musical. And if they're not or don't have musical training, we can still make it happen, keeping those therapeutic goals in mind.
So if somebody wasn't in like inpatient treatment or somewhere where they had immediate access to a musical therapist, is there still a way that they could connect with a music therapist? How would they go about looking for that kind of treatment?
Yeah, so in Court, feel free to back me up or chime in at any point. It's going to vary from state to state. Just thinking about Medicaid, what different insurance companies are going to cover and not cover, which is kind of the biggest barrier I think music therapists are facing right now. But there are organizations like Warrior Music Foundation where you can get direct access to a music therapist. Of course, Avenues, I'm thrilled that they've added this into their curriculum as well, recognizing its efficacy. But you can also go to the American Music Therapy Association's website and look up music therapists in your state on that website.
That's awesome. Thank you for that info. So then what's the correlation, just kind of pulling back to Avenues and addictions treatment, what is the correlation? How does that relate to people who are struggling with a substance abuse issue? How does music therapy come into play into treatment in a more practical way?
Yeah, it's a great question. And the way I see it, and I know Avenue's philosophy sees the addiction as a disease, right? And so I do believe that I approach my music therapy sessions through that lens as well. And the way very specific goals, right, set behind allowing folk to learn or relearn how to express themselves in a sustainable and more positive light, helping rebuild folk for who they were or who they want to be, who they truly see themselves as while being sober. And yeah, just really allowing folk to reconnect with themselves and a sense of purpose, all through the medium of music. I know for me personally, I always share with clients that I connect songs to different thoughts, emotions, and memories. And so a lot of work that I do also incorporates the reconnecting with perhaps older parts of self that were numbed or forgotten about while in active addiction, so that these beautiful parts of each individual can continue to remain present in one's recovery moving forward.
Right, that was so well said. With that in mind too, if I can kind of dovetail off of that, one of the things that Court and I also try to do, built within the Avenues curriculum, is we're trying to equip them with these coping skills. And by helping and encouraging clients to see that music can not only be something you enjoy in your life, but it can also be a really effective coping tool in your continued recovery. by looking at how music has functioned in your life in the ways that Court just expressed. So music's going to serve also a very functional purpose in their life and in their recovery moving forward.
That's awesome. I love how you guys were able to explain. I think a lot of people think that it's just listening to music, or, it's very basic, but there's a lot more to it than that. So thank you for shedding a lot of light into that. Any more thoughts on the topic? Any common misconceptions or any other thoughts that you had that you wanted to share?
Yeah, you touched on something just now. I think a relatively common misconception about music therapists is that we're entertainers. We come in and we play our guitar and we sing, and it's fun. And while there's certainly, again, an enjoyable element, or can be an enjoyable element within the music therapy space, that's not what we're there to do. The other thing is, and it's a really exciting time trying to be a music therapist, because more people are starting to learn about what we do. But with that also comes with just having to advocate for ourselves, because there still are quite a few people that don't know what we do. So that's been a challenge and a hurdle, but more and more people, I think, are starting to see just how important this work is.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for both of your time and for having this discussion, and to help kind of educate people who don't know about this, and to add more, like you said, shed more light into music therapy. And for everybody that's watching, happy World Music Therapy Day. And we'll see you next time.